Hey, welcome to American Reversion. I am Steve Smith, the only guy in Kansas who doesn't care that Kansas won the national championship last night. I'm going to talk about that more in just a minute. First off, welcome to y'all. Welcome to everyone, the new people, the old people, the new subscribers on YouTube, and the new members over on Patreon, our secret special channel. It's good to have you here. We have several things that I want to hit on today. First off, I want to say, if you might see some commercials on this, but and I'll get to that in a second. But this is brought to you by my books. For those of you who didn't know that I write books, that's what I do for a living. I'm a writer, and I wrote a whole bunch of books about the collapse of America, not from what we're seeing right now, but by an EMP, CME / in there. You'll find out at the end of the second book what that's all about. But the collapse of America and the rebuilding of it, and the rebuilding of communities along the lines of traditional values and principles. And like I always say, if you love your mama, and if you love America, and if you love all things that are good and apple pie and all that, you probably like these. Anyway, this is brought to you by that, and I have an announcement about that. As you can see, and I'll let you know. Okay, the first is the reversion, after which I named this channel. The second is the revival. I don't know if I'm getting these in the frame or not. Third is the renewal. The fourth is an appeal to heaven. That's always me down there on the bottom. The fourth is the blessings of freedom. And we're going to talk more about the blessings of freedom here one of these days. But those are available. You can get them on Amazon. I always put the link down below, as I do with the link to our Patreon channel for any of you who might like to come visit us over there and be a part of us. And so you can they're available in paperback and Kindle. Links down there. But I have a kind of a major announcement. Now I am able again to provide autographed copies. I haven't been able to for a while. We were running out of books. This is mainly the people on the other channel know about this. I was just having a hard time keeping up with everything. And I hated not getting back to people as quickly as I could. Well, now I'm getting better delivery on them. Who knows what the situation before. So I'll be able to offer autographed copies if you would like. I'll also put the information down below in the information block, whatever it is, for anybody who would like that. So also, besides that, you might see some advertisements on these videos now. We hit that magical point to where it can be monetized. And since YouTube was putting commercials on my videos sometimes anyway and not giving me any money, since I'm a capitalist, I said go ahead and monetize it. So at least now when you see ads, I'm going to get a penny or two. And for any of you little communists who have wandered by here and think you ought to get everything for free, you see, this is how business is done. This is capitalism. This is what built this country that you've been able to lay in the hammock of all of your life and suck up the blessings of that other people have gotten for you. But for the rest of you good people, you good Americans, I know I'm going to get some snotty comments on that. And when I do, they're gone. Because we don't allow rudeness. We only have nice people on this channel because nice people want to be around other nice people. And I protect my nice people by not letting people who aren't nice in. Does that make sense? Kind of like if you visited my house. So for all you little commies who want things free, no, none of that. We have a few things to... and I don't care, if you watch the ads, watch them, don't watch them, skip them. I don't care, I don't care a bit. I'm just not going to let them have any of my money for free. No, you can understand that. And you never know. Sometimes you see some ads that you like. You learn some things from them too. So, use that time to see about new products or go to the bathroom or whatever, or skip them. James Wood. Okay, you all heard about Elon Musk buying a bunch of Twitter, right? I mean, he bought, and I did too, because when Elon Musk or Warren Buffett buy stuff, I buy it too. Of course, they buy millions of shares and I don't, right? But he bought, what was it? He bought, oh gosh, I don't know, I won't even say because I'm not sure. He bought a bunch. It gives him a large share. He is now the largest shareholder of Twitter. And it's very interesting. We're going to see why he did that, what he's about. Could be a different number of things I won't get into right now. But James Wood sent him a tweet, and he said, "Dear Elon Musk, dear hashtag," I'm just now getting used to it. I'm not on Twitter. I don't know how to do Twitter. I think I have a Twitter account, but I don't know how to get to it. So anyway, I'll ask my son to help me with that. "Dear at Elon Musk, welcome to Twitter," says James Wood. Woods. "I join millions of users in hoping your presence will restore integrity to this once valuable forum. 2 thoughts. Remove all politically motivated algorithms from the site." I agree. "And then make people have to use their real identities to end abuse." I agree with that too. You know, people have been able to hide behind the curtain of anonymity on far too many things. And it's amazing how brave people can be when they don't have to show who they really are. So we'll see what happens with Twitter. I hope that their stock's gone up since I bought some. I'll check that later when I get off of here. Don't worry, it's not going to make me rich. I didn't buy that many shares. The next thing, we have something out of Breitbart. I have several more stories here we're going to cover, and then I'm going to get to the cost of war. It's a very, very interesting article that you all will be interested in. Seattle Museum, Breitbart, like I say, Seattle Museum hosting sex-themed drag camp for children. Now, you know, one of the reasons that we put on what we do on this channel is I find things and I put them out there in case you haven't seen them. Okay, so that you'll be able to know what's going on and share it with those people that you know. Because one of the things that has kept us from winning consistently on the political side is that our side does not remain incensed at the idiocy that's out there in the world. The other side is always incensed, right? They're always offended and everything. And I mean, they're offended and incensed, you know, level just never goes down, right? We don't. We have a little win and then we're, oh, well, everything's fine now. Let's get back to work. Well, not having to get back to work, so many on the other side just you know, they have that time and that energy and that, you know, limited knowledge to remain incensed. But this is why we do this. I put it out there. You can share it with your friends, that great in-between mass who doesn't know what to think at any given moment, who is still deciding who to vote for while they're standing in line, walking up to the voting machine, right? And to try to get them to understand that there is a difference and that the difference is major and what that difference is. So as I always say, after I get done with this, I will put the links. This video goes up on Patreon also. And then also in there, I put the links to all the stories that I read in Patreon so that you can click on them. You can read the whole article in case I haven't, and you can send it to people you know. Okay, let me begin this. It's by Amy Furr. That's the author. It says, "A Seattle museum is hosting a summer camp led by a cross-sex drag artist to train children aged 12 through 18 how to, quote, create your own personas." For those of you who are over there folding your laundry while you're listening to me, I just made air quotes, okay? Create your own personas. Is it persona or persona? I'm not sure. It continues. Led by local drag artist Joshua Hancock, summer camp, The Art of Drag, has run for the past 2 summers at the West Coast City's Museum of Pop Culture, MoPop. Not as in like more pop, but MoPop. The Daily Mail reported on Monday. The MoPop's website detailed the event scheduled for August 8 through August 12 of this year, calling, more air quotes, calling all current and future kings and queens, it says. Explore self-expression in MoPop's week-long drag-tastic summer camp, the site read. Led by Seattle performer Joshua Hancock, you'll investigate drag history. I didn't know there was a history. And work together with local artists to create your own personas. I'll stick with persona. If it's persona, y'all correct me. You'll choose your name, explore hair and makeup techniques, and develop your character's stage presence. At the end of the week, celebrate your new drag persona with a private showcase. In a social media post from July 2021, the museum advertised the camp and shared photos of the artists involved, one wearing green high heels and another with pink and white hair. Hancock has years of experience in theater, burlesque, and drag, the museum's website stated, adding he, again air quotes, you're over there folding your underwear, believes drag is for everyone. It is more than one thing and can be used to heal, bring joy, sadness, and love to people. Meanwhile, the British Broadcasting Company, no stranger to things such as this, highlighted a 15-year-old who began developing his drag act when he was 13. Breitbart News reported March 28, titled Cherry West, From Schoolboy Sam to Drag Queen. The Wednesday essay begins by describing teenage drag queen Sam Carlin, who goes by the alter ego Cherry West. As an aspiring schoolboy, dreaming of a flamboyant future ever since his first encounter with the drag scene at the tender age of 10, where he connected with performing as a woman on stage. Once the young man voiced interest regarding drag to his parents, the couple encouraged him to practice, and his sister taught him how to put on makeup. What is this young man's name? Where was it? I don't know. Sam Carlin. Sam, buddy, my prayers are with you, and I'm not being funny. I'm going to be thinking about you, and I think a lot of other people are. I just hope. I wish you well, buddy. Let's move on, shall we? Take all about of that, but let's spread this around. Let's let people know about these things. California judge. Now, just in case you think everything's going to hell in a handbasket, well, let's go back the other way. California judge rules corporate diversity quota law unconstitutional. Well, we knew that it was, didn't we? Because why? Because prejudice is wrong. And it should not be in the public forum. Discrimination, as far as, in government entities, should be illegal on the basis of sex and race and religion and things like that. Did you know? I don't think I've ever told you. I was, for those of you who don't know these things, I was refused. When I turned 21, I went down to a major police department to apply. Been waiting for it. Gone to college, got my degree, went down in law enforcement, went down to apply, and they said, we're not accepting any applications from white males. When I tell my black friends that, they are shocked because I am the only one that they've ever known who was discriminated against by law. Now, that doesn't mean it didn't happen back in the old days, and it was wrong back then. But now it seems to be okay. But some judges and people are coming around. Here's the story. This is by Brecken F. Thies and from Breitbart. A California law mandating corporations set racial, ethnic, and gender identity-based diversity quotas was ruled unconstitutional by a Los Angeles judge. Good for him. In L.A., I hope you have bodyguards to get you home. The law, which requires California-based corporate boards having members from an underrepresented community, was signed by leftist Governor Gavin Newsom last year. It also required compliance with at least one member from such a community by December 31st, 2021. By December 31st, 2022, corporate boards were required to fill a minimum proportion of the seats on the board with underrepresented, air quotes over there at the folding table again, underrepresented community members based on the size of the board. Conservative legal watchdog, Judicial Watch, we can thank them for a lot, can't we? Who's the guy over there? Tom Fitton? Yeah. They sought a permanent injunction on the measure, citing the Golden State's Equal Protection Clause, which was granted with no explanation from the judge. Means, yep, you're right. California lawyers argued this law did not discriminate against or grant preferential treatment to any individual or group on the basis of race, sex, color, ethnicity, or national origin in the operation of public employment, public education, or public contracting in a court filing. You know, it takes a lawyer, doesn't it, to dance around that one? That's why they have them. The injunction declared unconstitutional one of the most blatant and significant attacks in the modern era on constitutional prohibitions against discrimination, Judicial Watch President Tom Fitton said, according to Fox News. Yep. That's about it. No offense, by the way, to any lawyers out there. I have a lot of friends who are lawyers, but they're good ones. You know, there's good ones and bad ones. There's good lawyers, bad lawyers, good cops, bad cops, good, generals, bad generals, priests, teachers, whatever. Let's see how we're doing on time here. Okay, I'm going to get this one in. And this is about the cost of war. This comes to us from act.represent.us. And it says, as America wages war around the globe, members of Congress profit. Now, none of us are surprised at that, right? Before I even start this, if you haven't read Smedley Butler's book, War is a Racket, you should. It's a very small book. You can get it on Amazon for next to nothing. It's more of a pamphlet than a book. It's probably 45, 48 pages, something like that. I give it and recommend it to everybody. Butler was a Marine officer back in the early 1900s who received the Medal of Honor and two what they called brevet medals, essentially 3 medals of honor. So the guy was no slouch and knew exactly what he was doing. He went all over the world fighting, rose to the rank of general in the Marines. So he was tuned in. Finally came to the realization that the wars he was fighting and what he was killing people for was not for democracy or freedom or to protect America from any outside force, but to enforce things for the corporations. He was fighting for the pineapple companies and the sugar companies and things like this. You see, the American military is too often, as you all knew, no surprise to you, but used as a hammer for corporate interests. And who are the nails? It's young Americans whose lives are left, not to be too dramatic, but in distant lands, as it were, or brought back in pieces to be buried under a flag with a lot of pomp and circumstance, trying to make people believe that their deaths served a higher and more noble purpose, when really most of them were just sacrificed for corporate greed. I guess you all get a sense of where I stand on that, right? I'm going to read the first couple of paragraphs on this. This is quite an extensive article, and like I say, I'm going to post this over on Patreon, It's by Adam Dubard. East B begins. Since the end of World War II, the United States Congress has not officially declared war once, yet our nation consistently finds itself mired in armed conflicts around the globe. After a period of relative peace following the end of the Cold War, the September 11th attacks marked a massive shift in American defense policy, leading to the invasions of both Afghanistan and Iraq. These wars have been long, costly, and deadly. Yeah, I remember exactly when that happened, and I knew exactly what was going on at the time. According to the Costs of War Project at Brown University, more than 929,000 people have lost their lives as a result of the post-9/11 wars, including more than 387,000 civilians. Don't worry about being quiet, Mrs. Snerdley. They've been wondering where you are. Mrs. Snerdley just went down to get a pizza, I think. The kids have a lot of activities tonight, so we're pizzaing it. We cooked out. We had steaks on the grill and chicken on the grill last night, so tonight's a pizza night. The cost of these wars stand at around $8 trillion and will only increase as the United States continues to undertake counterterrorism operations in more than 85 countries. You know, I talked about this in one of my books, and I put it on a website that we're developing, and that is that the U.S. military is conducting either non-military or special operations in more countries around the world than most people know exist. You can't, if you're a normal person, you can't believe some of the places our guys are in. Okay? Some of you know. Some of you have an idea. But you would just be, I'm fortunate. I know a lot of the guys in the business. They tell me where they go, and I just want to shake my head. This $8 trillion, where is this from? We are a rich country, I know, with a whole lot of extra money laying around that we don't need or use, right? Nope. We're broke. So where's the money coming from? We like to say, well, the taxpayers, because they talk about this being government money. It's not government money. The government doesn't have any money. It doesn't take from the people first, and for the most part, it's stealing it. But we're running at a deficit, right? What do we got? Our national debt is $30 trillion. That means that it's not being paid back. More and more debt's being put on top of that. So who's going to pay for that? Well, it's not you and I. We're not even paying for that. We're paying for what they did years ago. It's our kids, grandkids, great-grandkids who are going to be paying for that, which means essentially they're being born into slavery created by the government that we are enabling. Would that be a good way to look at it? I think it's a way we need to start looking at it. He continues, even after the withdrawal of American troops from Afghanistan in August, remember that, right? Remember how we withdrew from Afghanistan? I wonder if any of the people over there still stuck over there will ever see this video, and I want to say I am sorry and ashamed of that we have a leadership who would allow that. The United States still maintains more than 700 military bases worldwide, which accounts for over 80% of all military bases around the globe. As of March 2021, these bases were manned by over 170,000 active troops, which is again the largest number of active troops deployed worldwide by anyone. So how did we get here? It asks. I'll spend a couple of more minutes on this. Like I said, I'll post the whole thing over on Patreon. President Dwight Eisenhower has received plenty of attention over the years for his warning over the military-industrial complex in his farewell speech. Ironically enough, President Eisenhower was one of the presidents most responsible for advancing American military interventions, having approved 2 covert operations that resulted in coups of democratically elected leaders in Guatemala and Iran. Ultimately, however, his warning was not heeded, and the military-industrial complex today is an incredibly powerful force in American politics. Well, they just named 2 there. They didn't name all the rest of the coups that we backed throughout the world to replace people that we didn't like with people that we do. And it's kind of what we're dealing with over in Ukraine right now, isn't it? I'm just going to kind of, I'll complete the thoughts of this article myself. The reason that the money keeps going into this is because every politician have a vested interest in keeping it going. Okay? Time after time, the Pentagon has said, we don't need this money for that. It could be tanks, it could be outdated submarines, whatever. We don't need them. These are obsolete, we don't need any more. But a representative or a senator will come up and say, listen here, boy, we can't close that down because, you see, that plant is in my district. And it employs 5,000 people. And those are the people who vote me in. And he ain't letting it stop. That's how it works, see? There's no stopping it. There's no stopping it as long as we continue to, number one, vote these same fools in, and secondly, think that it's good that we get jobs in our area, regardless of the fact that it's on it's the burden that'll be on our great-grandchildren. as long as it keeps jobs in our area, we're happy to break the country. The country's already broken. The country is splintered. It's shattered. There's no coming back from this, I don't think. What do you think? You let me know. I think I'll cut it there from now. We're coming close. We're not right up against the edge, but we're close enough. What do you all think about this? And the reason that I ask, I always look forward to your comments. Your comments are extremely smart. But, you know, whenever you comment, you help the situation. You help the efforts because you put your thoughts down there for other people to read. And so I encourage any of you new people that are watching this, don't at the end, when you stop watching the video, or even while you're watching the video, go down and check the comments. See what other people are feeling about this. See what they're thinking. We got some smart people. And then add your own thoughts. Let other people know. Because the more people that are involved in this process, the better. And the more, it's kind of like a snowball. You know, the more you get to going, the more impact you're going to have. Let your friends know. Talk about it with your friends. This is our only hope of returning America to what it should be. Because if we can't return it to what it should be, there's only two other options. One is living under tyranny and abject slavery for generations. The other is better, but not to be wished for if it can be avoided, right? Okay, listen. You all have a good day. Great to have you here. Let us know what you think. Put your comments down there. Make sure that you're subscribed too. You might want to check. I hear there's been some funny business of all of a sudden people saying, I hadn't seen you. I thought you stopped making videos, and then it turns out, somehow they were unsubscribed. And for you new people visiting us, welcome again. It's great to have you here. We will remember that America needs a reversion or something. It needs you and everybody else to be a part of it. And I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.